SpaceX uses 16 companies that are publicly traded on the stock market right now to build their rockets from the body to the actual brains to Starlink, and four of them are going to be customers that help with SpaceX ecosystem. Starting with number one is called a company called Hexcel. Hexcel, what they do is they provide materials to SpaceX, including carbon fiber to build out their SpaceX rockets like Falcon 9. And so here we have Hexcel supplies SpaceX with advanced lightweight composite materials, including carbon fibers, structural adhesives, and honeycomb core materials. These materials are critical to the aerospace industry because they offer extreme strength while being significantly lighter than metal, which helps maximize payload capacities for space exploration. And so here's pictures of the Falcon 9. Many of these parts are built with Hexcel materials. They're carbon fiber. Here's more of SpaceX Falcon 9. Number two on the list is going to be Helmet Aerospace. Helmet Aerospace provides rocket engine parts. So, and one interesting thing about Helmet is that they actually work with NASA on the Artemis 2 mission. So I'll show you photos of that. Helmet Aerospace is widely identified by financial analysts as a prime indirect beneficiary of SpaceX's continued expansion and the broader commercial space race. Because SpaceX relies heavily on specialty metals, Helmet, a major supplier of jet engine components, gas turbines, and aerospace fastening systems, is a crucial behind-the-scenes player in the supply chain. And so here's photos of the team taking pictures in front of the engine, the rocket engine that they actually build. So they build the engines. This is, I believe these are the ones that are specifically on, see the engines for the first crewed Artemis mission. So that's awesome. I think that's pretty dope. The next one on the list is number three, a company called Carpenter Technology. And what they do, Carpenter Tech, is they will provide SpaceX with powder. So metal powders, so that SpaceX takes the powder and then makes 3D models of the parts that they need for the rockets. So if I could see this right here, SpaceX builds its rockets using a mix of massive structural fabrication, highly intricate 3D printing. Carpenter Tech supplies the raw materials for both. So metal powders for 3D printing. SpaceX is a pioneer in metal 3D printing known as additive manufacturing. They use these techniques to print complex parts like the combustion chambers and manifold systems for their Super Draco and Raptor rocket engines. Additionally, they also provide wrought metals for the rocket body. So I think this is pretty awesome. So I imagine it's the frames. It says right here that SpaceX takes these high performance sheet metals and sheets of structural stainless steel to weld, forge, and machine the actual physical frame of the rocket. I think that's awesome. I think this is all critical for SpaceX's actual business. So we have that. Number four on the list is a company called Materion. They're very similar to Carpenter Tech, but Materion, I think specifically, they help with more of the powder or for material that SpaceX uses to build. So they give Materion's role as a direct supplier revolves around high performance elements that survive extreme environment physics. So niobium metal and several other metals that protect these spacecrafts when they're in extreme environments. Number five on the list is PPG, and they're a paint company. What they help with, obviously, is with coatings. So they're going to help with, let's see here. Let me go back. PPG Industries is heavily linked to SpaceX as a key picks and shovels investment play surrounding the upcoming June 12th, 2026 SpaceX initial public offering. While SpaceX prepares to go public, PPG Industries is widely recognized by financial analysts as a premier supplier of high-performance aerospace coatings, sealants, and thermal protection materials critical to space tech. So essential coatings, extreme durability, weight reduction. This is the way PPG is going to be playing in this ecosystem. Sherwin-Williams is going to be number 6 on the list. Sherwin-Williams is actually a big deal here. Sherwin-Williams will actually coat the outside of Falcon 9. They'll coat the interior of the rocket to protect from the extreme environment that they're putting these rockets through. So SpaceX utilizes Sherwin-Williams aerospace finishes for their protective high-performance properties on hardware subjected to extreme environmental stress, rather than using them as standard cosmetic paint. And so number 7, let's move on to number 7. Number 7, we're going to get into this group I would call the brains of the rockets that SpaceX builds. So number 1 is from Honeywell. Honeywell is huge in this ecosystem here. Honeywell is going to be essentially the navigation system for SpaceX and their rockets. So here we have Honeywell Aerospace acts as a key supplier for SpaceX, providing critical components for its launch vehicles and spacecraft. While the exact technical details of their contracts remain largely confidential, SpaceX counts Honeywell among its vital aerospace and defense industry partners, alongside legacy giants like Boeing and Lockheed Martin. Honeywell's massive space hardware portfolio directly enables commercial launch capabilities. Component manufacturing: Honeywell supplies foundational space hardware, including engine control valves, low-energy avionics, spacecraft sensors, and precision navigation systems. Docking systems: the company creates active docking mechanisms that assist spacecraft in safely connecting to other structures in orbit. So basically, I asked, what does it help with SpaceX landing their rockets? And it says yes, it does. So this is a huge player. It's a huge company and probably a big part of their stock portfolio when it comes to all these companies. So moving on to number 7 on the list. Number 8. Honeywell was number 7. Number 8 is going to be a company called Trimble Solutions. Trimble Solutions is a global tech company that connects the physical and digital worlds, transforming the ways work get done. Trimble helps SpaceX by supporting their Starlinks. So this is a huge part when it comes to SpaceX, Starlink. Trimble is supporting SpaceX by integrating Starlink high-speed satellite internet into a precision agriculture, heavy machinery, and construction workflows to provide reliable connectivity in remote areas. That number 8 is really huge when it comes to SpaceX ecosystem. Number 9 on the list is going to be none other than NVIDIA. So Honeywell, Trimble, NVIDIA, these are all the brains of SpaceX and their company. Obviously, NVIDIA, they're a chip company. NVIDIA provides the massive high-performance artificial intelligence hardware infrastructure that anchors SpaceX's booming AI and data center business. As SpaceX approaches its highly anticipated IPO, the company has transformed into a global AI computing landlord, powered almost entirely by NVIDIA silicon. The core infrastructure and the Colossus One data center. SpaceX expanded its tech ecosystem by merging with Elon Musk's XAI venture to form SpaceX AI. NVIDIA heavily supports this infrastructure. So we have the massive chip fleet. SpaceX heavily deploys NVIDIA's advanced hardware, including the liquid-cooled NVIDIA DGX GB300 systems built on the Grace Blackwell Ultra architecture. Then we have Colossus One. This is a giant data center located in Memphis, Tennessee. This massive SpaceX data center houses over 220,000 NVIDIA GPUs. That's insanity. Capital expenditures driven by massive NVIDIA chip purchases. SpaceX spent $13 billion on data center capital expenditures in 2025 alone, plus another $7 billion in just the first quarter of 2026. So in just 3 months, they put more than half of 2025's investment. And so, as you can see, NVIDIA plays a huge role in this ecosystem. So we're going to move on to the next one. Number 10 is going to be a part of SpaceX's cash cow, which is Starlink. So besides Trimble, which helps with Starlink, these next 3 are specifically for helping Starlink. Number 10 on this list is called ST Microelectronics. This company helps SpaceX. They help with a critical hardware. They're a critical hardware supplier and co-designer for SpaceX, serving as the backbone. So this is the backbone for the global Starlink satellite network. I think that's a huge underline. Over a partnership spanning more than a decade, the European semiconductor giant has shipped over 5 billion specialized chips to power both Starlink satellites and ground terminals. That's incredible. The core partnership relies on ST's proprietary bipolar CMOS tech. ST Micro manufactures the high-performance radio frequency front-end modules and antenna elements integrated into millions of consumer Starlink dishes. So they basically push out the radio frequency, and that is a huge part for Starlink and SpaceX. Number 11 is a company called Skyworks. Skyworks is another part of Starlink and also another part of the radio frequency part of this business. So how Skyworks impacts SpaceX and Starlink? They have the component supply chain. Skyworks provides specialized analog and radio frequency semiconductors. As Starlink expands mass production, suppliers like Skyworks benefit from steady component demand for user terminals and satellite communication hardware, aerospace-grade hardware. Skyworks manufactures high reliability components such as radiation tolerant optocouplers and limiter diodes, which are explicitly engineered to handle power subsystems in extreme conditions in space applications. Starlink mobile synergy. As SpaceX ramps up its direct-to-cell Starlink mobile network, it requires next-gen 5G, 6G, radio frequency front ends, low latency connectivity, and specialized multi-chip modules. Skyworks specializes heavily in these precise 5G edge platforms and radio frequency modules. Skyworks and ST Microelectronics is a huge part in Starlink. Next company on the list is number 12, Qorvo. Qorvo helps with SpaceX. So Qorvo is a crucial supplier of advanced radio frequency. Another one of these companies that are helping with radio semiconductor solutions that enable the high-speed data transmission and beam steering capabilities of SpaceX's Starlink satellite constellation. Radio frequency infrastructure and satellite communications. Phased array terminals. Qorvo manufactures silicon beamformer integrated circuits and gallium nitride power amplifiers. These are key components inside electronically scanned flat panel antennas, which both Starlink satellites and ground terminals use to track moving orbital payloads seamlessly without mechanical parts. Next-gen satellite materials. In the new space industry, Qorvo is widely utilized as a leading supplier of space-grade radio frequency component solutions. Its advanced GaN on silicon carbide tech offers the high radiation tolerance, thermal efficiency, and power density required by low Earth orbit networks. So as you can tell, they are a huge part of SpaceX's ecosystem. The next one on the list and the next group are the customers that SpaceX works with. Number 13 is going to be a company called Intuitive Machines. This one's huge, guys. This company is massive. They work with SpaceX, or they pay SpaceX to send lunar landers. So Intuitive Machines relies exclusively on SpaceX to launch its lunar landers. Through 2026, the company has contracted SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket to propel its missions, including the successful IM-1 and IM-2 deliveries to the moon's South Pole, and signed SpaceX for upcoming payloads such as IM-4 mission. So this one's going to be huge for SpaceX and space exploration. The next one on the list, number 14, we're rounding the last part of this list. Number 14 is a company called AST Space Mobile, connecting the unconnected. And so they rely on SpaceX's Falcon 9 rockets as its primary launch provider to deploy its commercial Bluebird satellites. Despite this launch partnership, the two companies are fierce, direct competitors in the race to provide space-based cellular broadband to unmodified 4G and 5G smartphones. What I found interesting was this right here. Following a setback with Blue Origin, Space Mobile shifted its upcoming June 2026 deployment of 3 massive Block 2 Bluebird satellites to SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. So they went from Bluebird to SpaceX. So that's huge. That's a huge deal. SpaceX is pulling companies away from their competitors. Number 15 on the list is a company called Planet Labs. Planet Labs, AI-powered Earth intelligence. Planet Labs is a Earth observation company. Earth observation company that routinely launches its satellites aboard SpaceX Falcon 9 rockets. Through ongoing multi-year rideshare agreements, SpaceX provides routine, low-cost access to space to help Planet Labs build out its fleet of advanced imaging satellites. I think that's perfect. Number 16 is one more Earth observation company called Satellogic. Satellogic, these images are beautiful. You have to dig into these websites. The images coming from satellites are beautiful. They're like, it's incredible how they're capable of taking these photos from such a high shot. So SpaceX is Satellogic's preferred launch provider for Earth observation satellite deployment, utilizing the Falcon 9 and the SpaceX rideshare program to build out Satellogic's constellation. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are 16 of the companies that help SpaceX be a business and stay alive. If you want to see NVIDIA and see the companies that keep NVIDIA alive, I'm gonna leave a link here, and I'm going to show you that one. And so that's it for now.